Hello you and welcome to lesson 5. Today we are going to speak about something fun. We will talk about hobbies and activities. We'll learn how to describe our hobbies, talk about our hobbies, learn new vocabularies for hobbies. We'll also take the present simple and use present verbs to talk about our hobbies. We will learn a new idiom. And finally, we'll take a quiz. So, are you ready? Let's get to it. So, let's start. Today we are talking about fun stuff, hobbies. What are hobbies? Your hobby is an activity that you'd like to do in your free time, when you have time to spare. We do something that we enjoy doing, an activity. This thing is called your hobby. Example of hobbies, like for example, you can put together model trains. You know those little model trains you used to play with as a kid with the little train tracks, and you put together the train and then it goes, it runs around the tracks, and you know there's a little smoke coming out of the the train, and it's a lot of fun. Some people love it. That is their hobby. They build model train sets. Now, some people like watching movies or listening to music, or just when you're listening to music, just don't do it too loud, or your neighbors might call the police. That happened to me, but you don't want to go down that road. So, a hobby is something that you do for fun and not for money. Because if you do it for money, then it's not a hobby anymore, it's a job. Okay, so a hobby is something that you do for fun, something that you actually enjoy doing, that you don't mind doing it for free. It is something you do regularly. Okay, let's see how important is hobbies when we are conversing. Okay, when I meet someone new, one of the first questions I ask is, what is your hobby? Okay, and most people just shrug. You know what, shrug, like go like this, like, you tell me first. Normally, they would return the question to me. They would divert the question and ask me what are my hobbies. So it's a good thing to think about, because if you think about it, everybody has hobbies, no matter how weird they are. Even if you like to collect dead insects, everybody has a hobby. There is something that you like to do. Prank calls, annoying your sister, whatever it is, everybody's got a hobby. So think about your hobbies, and it'll be a good conversation practice. It's called an icebreaker. An icebreaker is basically something that we start a conversation with someone we don't know, because normally if two people are strangers, they don't know each other, it's like ice in between them. So icebreaker, it's a topic or a conversation that melts this ice and make you become friendly with the other person. So let's see, what are some popular hobbies? We have watching TV. This is one of the most popular ones around the world. Family time, spending time with your family, if they're nice. Going to movies. Okay, now watching TV and going to the movies are not the same thing. Watching TV is just watching at home. Going to the movies, it means going to the movie theater and watch a movie. Normally you buy tickets, popcorn, drink, and fishing. Some people like fishing. Computers, gardening, growing flowers and stuff in your yard. Exercising, that's a very good hobby, and it's healthy. You live longer and become stronger. Listening to music, shopping, spending all your money. Traveling, socializing. Socializing means making new friends, meeting new people. Sewing, or with a machine now. They don't do it. Golf, relaxing, hiking, What's hiking? Hiking is going on long walks, normally in the wild, on a hill, in mountains, or into the woods. Cooking. Skiing in the ice, and on the snow mountains, you go and you ski. Not ice, snow. Working on cars. Fixing cars. Riding. Motorcycling. Animal care. Running. This is also called jogging. Dancing. Let me write it here. Jogging. Horseback riding. You get on a horse and the horse runs and you just sit. Tennis. Theater. Theater is different than movie theater. Theater is, going to watch plays. Like actors, they're performing in front of you on stage. That's called theater. It's also called plays, watching plays. Billiard, Beach. Now, let's take some common questions that people make about hobbies in English. Common questions are, what is your hobby? Or what's your favorite hobby? Do you have any hobbies? Yes, I love camping. What do you do in your free time? That's another way of asking about someone's hobby. What do you do in your free time? I hang out with my friends. Do you like to play soccer? I like soccer, but I don't play that often. All right, soccer means football. In America, it's called soccer, because football is something else in America. Soccer is, the rest of the world calls it football. Do you enjoy watching movies? I'm a huge fan of movies. What do you like doing in the evenings? I usually stay home. Would you like to come and play soccer with us? Sure. What are your hobbies or what are your interests? My interest is learning about internet marketing. What activities do you do to relax? I read books and listen to music. Okay, so there are many ways you can ask about someone's hobby, and there are many things that you could say. Just be truthful, don't lie to impress people. Don't say I climb mountains, unless you actually do. Just be truthful. People like honesty. All right, exercise. Now, I want you to do this with a partner, or just walk out on the street and find someone and start a conversation with them and use these prompts. Talk about your favorite hobby. When you're talking about your favorite hobby, I want you to use these prompts. Your favorite hobby, how long have you been practicing or how long have you been doing that hobby? Whom you may practice with. It means, who do you do this hobby with? Do you do it alone? Do you do it with people? Like, for example, if your hobby is tennis, do you have a tennis partner that goes and play tennis with you? How much free time do you usually have? What do you prefer to do after practicing your hobby? Okay, so use these to make a conversation with someone. Talk about your favorite hobby, how long, who do you do it with, how much time do you have for your hobbies, and what do you do after your hobby? People like, different things. Some people just like to go home and shower and relax, or go for ice cream, whatever. All right. Now let's talk about the first tense in the English language, the present simple tense. Now, the present simple tense is, we need to use the present simple a lot in English, so it is really important. There is a positive form, and this is also called an affirmative, and there is a negative form, and there is a question form. So there are three forms of the present simple. The question, the positive, and the negative. Okay, so let's start with the positive and the short form of the present simple. We took this when we took the verbs to be. I am becomes you are becomes your, he is become he is, she is, she's, it is, it's, we are, we're, they are, they're. Okay? This is just a positive form. I am a student. That is present simple. Okay? I am a student. She is a teacher. Now the negative form of the present simple with verbs to be, am not, you are not, or you aren't, or you're not. So either here we say you're not or you aren't. He's not or he isn't. She's not or she isn't. It's not or it isn't. We are not or we are not, we aren't. They're not, they aren't. Okay, this is the negative form with verbs to be in the present simple. Now, for questions, as we say, we put the verb to be at the beginning of the sentence, so it becomes am I instead of I am, are you instead of you are, is he, is she, is it, are we, are they. For plurals, we use are. Now, the positive form with verbs. Okay, now this is important. If we have with I, you, we, and they, we use the base form of the verb. What does that mean? The base form, it means just the verb as it is in the present tense or in the first form. So no changes. So I play. Play stays as it is. You play. They play. We play. Now, for these guys, it's different. Okay? For he and she and it and single nouns or single names, we add an S. Okay? As you can see here. For present simple, let's change color. For present simple, we add an S. The positive is just the verb for these guys. So for these guys, it's just the verb play, 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 play. But for these guys, he, she, it, we add an S. So if the subject is he, she, or it, the verb takes an extra S. He plays, she plays, it plays. All right. Now, if it is in the negative, I, you, and we are the same case. Take don't. These, they take don't. Okay? But these guys, he, she, it, they take doesn't. All right? So, same thing. I don't play. You don't play. He doesn't play. She doesn't play. It doesn't play. We don't play. They don't play. So are you, we, they take don't. And he, she, it takes doesn't. Now, in question forms, same thing. I, you, we, and they. We forgot they here. Let's add they. Are you, we, and they. Okay, are you, we, and they take do. He, she, it, they take does. All right, this is for question form. Do I play? Do you play? Does he play? Does she play? Do we play? Do they play? Okay, so he, she, it, we use does. if it's a question form. If it's a negative, we use doesn't for he, she, it. For the rest, we use don't for negatives. For affirmatives, we just use the verb as it is. I play, you play, we play, or if it's he, she, it, we add an S. So it becomes she plays, he plays, it plays. Okay, so let's take a look at a quick comparison. Let's compare. Let's put them next to each other and look. So I play, negative, I don't play. The question, do I play? You play, you don't play. Do you play? He plays, he doesn't play. Does he play? The difference between this and this is just this is here we use the contraction. We use the short form. So here we use the contraction, the short form. Contract. Okay, let's rewrite it. Here, this is contraction. Okay, so she plays, she does not play, or she doesn't play. Does she play? It plays, it does not play, it doesn't play, does it play? And we don't play, we play, do we play? So only the he and the she and the it, they take does. And the I, you, we, they take do. Okay, let's take a look at WH questions. Now, WH questions, that means all the questions that starts with WH. Except for how, we also consider it a WH question, although it starts with an H. There is no W. Okay, so WH questions are where, when, why, who, when, what, when, and how. So where, what, why, who, when, how. Those are the WH questions. Now, how do we form a WH question? Normally we start, always when we have a WH question, we always start the questions with the WH question. We followed that by the auxiliary, okay, whether it's a verb to be or whether it's do or a model. We'll talk about auxiliary later on during our course. But for now, all you need to do is that we start always a question with a WH question, and then we put the auxiliary, and then we put the subject, and the final thing we put is the verb. So this is how we structure a question. Or actually, let's just say instead of WH question, let's just write question, word, plus auxiliary. Let's just say AUX for short, auxiliary, plus subject, plus verb. So this is how we structure the question. We start with the question word, then we have the auxiliary, then we have our subject, then we have our verb. Where do I play? What do you play? Why does he play? Who does she play? When do we play? How do they play? Present simple uses. Okay, now when do we use the present simple? This is important. We use a present simple when something is true now. If something is true now, we use the present simple. Like, I am 19 years old. I'm not. I'm way older than that, but just an example. I am a student. He lives in London. Notice with I, we didn't use any, because there were no verbs here. He, because we have he and we have a verb, so we add an S. So if we have he, oops, let's change the color. Let's go with blue. Okay, he plus verb plus S. This is a rule. He, also she and it. If we have a verb that follows them and is positive, that means we always add an S. He lives in London. So those are all to say that something is true. Now, at this moment, it's true. So if something is a fact or something is true, we use the present simple. Something that happens regularly in the present. What does that mean? It means something that always happens. It's a routine. Something that occurs regularly. We use the present simple. Like, I play football every weekend. He always wakes up early. She likes visiting her mom every Sunday. So we use the present simple with something that happens regularly or routinely. We use the present simple. Something that is always true, okay? Like facts. Like, the human body contains 206 bones. Contains, as you see. Why did we put the S here? Why did we put the S here? Because the human body is a single noun. We said he, she, it, or single noun. If we have he, she, or it, or a single noun, followed by a verb, the verb must always end in an S, if it's positive. Light travels at almost 300 kilometers per second. So this is a fact. 300,000 kilometers per second. That is the speed of the light. So again, notice here we put the S. Light travels. Why? Because light is a single noun. Okay, a single noun. So with single noun, we always add the S to the verb. Now, another use of the present simple is adverbs of frequency. And what is an adverb of frequency? Adverb of frequency, like always, sometimes, often, never, occasionally, seldom, rarely. Those are called adverbs of frequency. We're going to talk about them later on in this course in details. So adverbs of frequency, like sometimes, always, and never with the present simple. So whenever we have adverb of frequency in the sentence, we use the present simple. Like, I sometimes go to the cinema. She never plays football. Present simple. Don't forget the S. Even really advanced students make this mistake. They forget the S. If the noun is single, or if we have he, she, it, and followed by a verb, that verb must always end in an S. For a few verbs, there is a spelling change before the S. Okay? Like verbs that ends the same thing that goes with the plural. Remember, we talked before about the word, the plural words that end with a, if a noun ends with a Y, we look at the letter that comes before the Y. If the letter that comes before the Y is a consonant, then we remove the Y and we put IES. If the letter that comes before the Y is a vowel, then we treat it like a normal, regular plural, and we just add an S. Like, for example, if we have, let's see, anything that ends with a Y, boy. Okay, so boy here, the letter before the Y is O. That means if we want to make it plural, we just simply add S. But if the letter before Y was a consonant, like here, study, let's see, study, the letter before the Y is D, and D is a consonant, then this will become studies. So whether it's a noun, studies in plural, or whether it's a verb, studies, it's the same thing. We remove, one second. Okay, we remove the Y and we put IES. There are also few verbs which have irregular. There are few verbs that are irregular in the present simple, like have becomes has, do becomes does, we covered that, and go become goes. All right, now we are done with the present simple for today. Let's take an idiom. Idioms are phrases in English that are widely known, are used. Normally, where they don't mean the same thing as they sound like. They mean something else. But English is full of idioms. And that's why English is called an idiomatic language. That's why I'll try to teach you idioms as we go along in our lessons. So today's idiom is going to be so far, so good. So far, so good. What does that mean? It doesn't mean as it sounds. We're not talking about far, okay? We're not talking about distance. This is an expression that means everything is going well up to this point, until now. That means everything until now is going good. Everything is great until this moment, okay? Let's take some examples and see how we can use it in sentences. So first example, how is the lesson going? So far, so good. It means the lesson up to now is going good. It's okay, I like it. Next, she has been working at the same restaurant for over a month, and so far, so good. It means so far, until now, she likes her job, everything is good, no problems. Next example, we have, how is your holiday going? How is your holiday going? So far, so good. We are having a great time. It means up to this moment is great. The weather is great. We still have money. We haven't been robbed. Everything is good. So far, so good. All right, guys, this is it for today's lesson. There will be a quiz. Don't forget to take it, and I'll see you guys next lesson. Stay tuned.